side of things. Uh, I don't know that I would want to go below 25. If you wanted to go up with an adult, I would be okay with that. Again, it's going to look like more money because we're at the 1.5 now for 6. So that's the flip side of the flip side of it. So.
So I'm comparing, tell me if I'm right here, Jay. I'm comparing the proposed non-resident adult pass at 35. And I'm looking at our surrounding neighbors, and those are, the lowest one I see is 60.
Yep.
At Baldwin City, and we got a better pool than Baldwin City.
Right.
And so first, I would say we definitely need to adjust that column. Non-resident adults. And maybe we should back up a little bit, Jay. What's driving this change? It sounds like there's some issues with administrating the family pass that we're trying to clean up. But
yeah, in terms of trying to be as politically correct as possible here, there are people abusing the system more and more. And we've even seen it a lot more here in 2020, which I will talk more about that later. But the fees were reduced so much that, and the thing is, unless we get tax rolls or we don't have a lot of concrete evidence of a lot of this. We know a lot of people in town, Justin and I do. We think we know where they live or at least close to it. But all of a sudden you've got this family living with this family that didn't before, and just a lot of funny business going on. And what we're trying to do is make it fair for everybody. The ones that are being honest are probably having to pay more than the ones that aren't. So what we're trying to do is get it straight across the board. So, and when we talk about raising the thing I want to go back to, and I'm not saying I'm opposed to it, but once we start raising individual rates and you start adding those together, it raises up what people perceive as a family, what our family pass was. Now, when you look at the other towns, they still do offer that family household type pass. Which, when you look at, I think Bill, you said $60. If it doesn't go up that much more before you get to a family involved with. So that's the thing we gotta watch as well. So.
Anybody else have any comments?
I actually like that it's broken down by individual, but I agree it could be a little bit more maybe. But if you thought it needed to raise prices, but I like the broken down concept.
I wonder, is there a way to maybe lower the cap that a family pass, let's say maybe we say a family pass can be no more than 2 adults and 3 kids, and then you have an add-on child or an add-on adult price for the family pass.
We do have that.
Kind of like Josh, I'm a little uncomfortable going away from the family pass. I know it's difficult to administrate.
Yeah, we have the add-ons right now. I think, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we went to $15 per add-on, which we could add on to that. But then I still go back to, oh yeah, the neighbor kid lives with us. I'm going to put him on here because it's $15 versus having to pay I can't read that, Mike. What is it? 55 for a child resident.
Right.
I'm just going to add them onto mine, and we're just going to let it roll.
I hear you. I mean, hearing your side of it, I can see exactly where you're coming from. I could see that would be a hard situation to try to run that and get the revenues that we need. Not that we're really running this thing at a profit, right? But at the same time, people are, we're already taking a loss as a city to run this pool, and it's kind of like the least you could do if you're able to afford it is pay for your equitable share of the past. It's so I don't know.
Is there a way for us to ask for proof of residency with kids? Like they could bring enrollment papers from the school or whatever showing that they actually reside in that house, and then give them, anybody over a family of 4, give them a little bit of a cut for a kid.
I mean, one thing some cities do is you have to come enroll. You have to bring tax roll in to City Hall or the Parks and Recreation office. That's your proof. Then you get the pass. We allow online. We started. It's been years ago now, where we allow online school pass registration. So anybody, you can put whoever you want on there, and you can say you live wherever you want to. So. I don't know that we could use through our software. I don't know how we could get any proof on the online way. It would have to be an in-person type of thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't equip raising the family pass to 150 and then just raising the adder to 25, and I mean.
Yeah, different ways to look at it, because like with my setup, the family affords $100, you're actually saving $5.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just like the
I like
black and white.
Jay. I do like the $25 for everybody. I love that, and then we can look at the non-resident rate, and maybe that does need a little bit of an adjustment up, but not to steer you guys. I mean, you guys I want you to make your own recommendation to the council, but I
was wondering, what do you think? I mean, do you think of this? I mean, that's the other thing I was saying, that we're just recommending, right, Rick? So, Mayor, do you see any, with taking out that family pass, do you see that the city council would have an issue with that?
I think it'll be a lot of the same discussions and concerns about losing the value of the family pass. But I think when you break this down, it's actually probably a better deal for most of our troops, and it's not really a worse deal, assuming we would do a rate increase on the memberships. It's probably not much of a better deal even for a family of 6. I mean, I don't know what we would look at going to if we just did an increase in the rates, but it would certainly go up from 105 probably. So I think if you the real cost, I think it's not a bad value. It's a pretty darn good value, even at $25 a head.
Yeah, that's coming to the pool 5 times. It pays it off.
Right.
Hey, Jay, does your point of sale or registration system, are you able to tell how many how much of the annual revenue is generated by non-resident pool pass holders?
Yeah, I don't have that right now, but yeah, we can definitely break that out between resident and non-resident. Yep.
Well, I don't want to slow you down, but I'm just wondering if we could sort of this year. First of all, I want to go back and reiterate that I believe that the value is honestly a little bit too good right now, in that we haven't had a rate change in 10 years. And so I think over the next couple of years, we need to look at some graduated increases, but maybe for this coming year, I'm assuming we're talking about next season, right? Next summer?
Yeah, 21.
Right. Perhaps we can start with an increase for non-residents to get that back in line with the market. And while we do that, we can fiddle with the costs for the resident individual passes. I still feel anxious about doing away with the family pass. And I know I'm like Josh, I understand exactly what you're saying. Administratively, it's a pain and feel like people are cheating us. But I think that since every other community around here appears to have a family pass, it's a convenience and a perception that I think our constituents are going to miss heavily. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but we got to raise rates and over the next couple of years for sure. But I think we got to hang on to some sort of family pass so there's a benefit for families of 5 or more, you know.
Well, how about if we do a family pass rate for a family of 4, and then do a complete, cut in rate, individual rates for each additional child.
That's the word Jay's having trouble with administration.
Right. Well, I understand that.
But
I mean,
I don't know. That may just be part of life.
Look at the family pass at 4, and then make the add $25, and we're exactly where we are right here with this proposal, right?
Yeah, if you keep the family pass threshold at a minimum, and then have individual passes after that minimum number, maybe it's 4. I think that would deter maybe some of because there's nothing to gain then by having your neighbor kid put your address down.
Well,
Maybe
if your
that's it.
individual rate's the same as your add-on, you might as well just do the individual.
yeah, but what I think Bill's saying is that it's about the wording and it making it community friendly by saying family.
There's something to that, yes. Or I think there ought to be a benefit, small, slight, to a family, but to especially a larger family. So you get some sort of cut rate up to 4 people, and then after that, it's $25 a head, something like that. You say that, Jay, you say just about everybody fills out all 6 names right now?
I exaggerate a little bit on that, but there are quite a few that I know that there are not 6 people in that household, that all of a sudden there are 6 people in that household. But I say I know, I don't go to their house and say who lives here, but
Right.
From working there for quite a while now, I kind of get it. Unless somebody just moves into the area.
Yeah.
And then when they sign up for a sport individually and they're not in that family, so you're in that family.
Hey, are you on the streets? Do we need to help you?
So I'm still kind of feeling like if we limit the number of family members that can be part of a family pass. Let's say we limit it at 4, and there's some sort of a economic break there up to 4. Then that you still have that break if you add people at 25 per head after that. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you still get the benefit, financial and convenience of having a family pass. So
you could also look at the adult.
Yeah, definitely keep the adult list at 2. I mean, my goodness.
So how does it work if grandma brings the kids and they're like, we're not swimming? Do they have to pay to get in?
Yes.
Okay.
If you come in through the gate, you're paying.
Okay.
Because we don't know if you're going to swim or not. You may say you're not, but.
But if you're grandma, are you free?
Depends on how old grandma is.
I don't suggest asking people that at the gate.
62 and over, no, is not free.
When do I get the senior rate, Jay? When do I get the senior rate?
62.
62.
62, okay.
62. Dang.
So what are you proposing for numbers then, Bill?
Well,
It still
I-
seems like a deal, but
I feel
then
kind of bad because I've totally not prepared for this. I didn't read it. I haven't done any homework, so I'm giving you high level. I guess my thought is advice saying I think there's going to be a demand for a family pass with some sort of break for families in there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Bill. And I'm sorry because I don't intend to make anybody's job harder here administratively, but can we table this till next? I mean, does this need to be voted on? I'm just wondering if we could take and look at like, an option with a table that's revised, and then having one option that still has some sort of family pass in it that I don't know, in a way that you think would be the fairest way to administrate it, and then maybe make it clear what we're talking about as a family. Because I think everybody's talking about some quasi-nuclear family type where it's basically two adults and discounts for young children in their household still, right? But, your college-aged kids still living at the house, they can maybe pay for their own pass at $25, but I'm thinking of some sort of break for a family with still young, small children in there. Certainly, I appreciated it when I had it. So I would hate to vote against something or recommend against something that I really thoroughly enjoyed when my kids were young. I thoroughly enjoyed that. It was affordable. It was something we could do in the evenings as a family. And because it was affordable, it wasn't like a big sacrifice in our family to get the family pool pass. And we would always look forward to that every summer. So that's where I'm coming from.
The way I have it set up right now, a family of four would be $100 in 2021. In 2019, a family of four is $105.
So, but it's Josh's family who has a bunch of kids that's really going to take a little bit of a hit here, right?
Right, but he would add, even in that situation, with four kids, he's going to add two kids onto that. So it would be $25 a piece, right?
150, yeah.
So you'd be at 150, which is the same as what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's the persona of a family pass that everybody thinks there's a family pass to get a discount. With the way we've got it up here, a family of three, a family of four, yes, there is a discount. A family of five, a family of six, yes, your rate is going up. And we can sell that as we haven't raised our rates in 10 years.
Right. No, I really believe that
The way I look,
warrants a change in costs for sure.
I agree.
Well, Jay, do you think is that enough to bring this back again at the next meeting? We're not in a hurry. Of course, we have all season.
No, I wanted to get it out there. Just I guess just kind of clarification on the family side of things. Just you're saying a family of four at a rate, and then it's
The
some
going
number
rate.
to add on based on if they're young kids, it's a certain rate to add on. But if you've got adults in your house, it's whatever. It's more. Is that kind of what
That's kind of what I was thinking.
okay. Yeah.
But I think your approach has to be. I can see the issue is that you got to, because there's some misuse of the family pass. You got to crank down on the requirements to keep people as honest as possible.
Right.
So I think that's the way to do it without having to give up. I mean, my preference is that we don't totally give up on the family pass. I just feel like there's something there, and there has to be a little bit of benefit, at least to those first four people in the family for signing up together. A little bit, not a lot.
Okay. Justin and I can put our heads together, see if we can come up with something. Bring it back next meeting.
Wait a minute, I want to hear from Mr. Johnson. You got any additional thoughts on this? You have to deal with stuff like this. Family athletic passes.
Oh, no, I think giving families a break is a great idea. But maybe limiting it to 2 adults on the family pass, and then 2 kids, and then do the add-ons. Like I think that's a pretty good idea.
You require any, well, you have all that stuff in your system of who's actually in the family, is that right?
Well, like, so we sell an all sports pass that's similar to this. It allows them to put, I'm trying to remember the form, I think it allows them to put a certain number of adults on there. But yeah, not we're checking that to confirm what they've put down. We can rely on their honesty in that regard.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was, I guess you wouldn't know everybody verification-wise, but kids-wise, you would think they'd all be in the schools, not necessarily, but in the schools.
Yeah, I mean, our kids are in there, and the activity pass is really, it's for parents and for grandparents, because kids, like, if they pay their $20 for an activity pass, they get into everything all year long.
Right.
Yeah, so we offer a family and an individual all sports pass, which it's pretty similar to what you've got.
What's the age?
Where
Go ahead.
a family gets a discount. I mean, unless versus like 2 individuals signing up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the age for being able to be dropped off? What's the cutoff?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know. Okay, well, what's the rule?
What's the rule? Justin,
Yeah.
chime in on this one. I want to say I'm not even,
It's 8.
8.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. 8. Wow. Because I was thinking maybe 10 and under be a certain price, 10 and over, because I was thinking that maybe 10 was the cutoff. But because, if you're under a certain age, you have to have an adult. So for those kids coming by themselves, maybe the parents are just buying individual passes because they're not using it anyway.
Well, I think what most people are doing now, since it is so cheap, they're buying that family pass, putting everybody on it.
Yeah,
Not-
using their friends.
And and then not everybody even comes to the pool. So
Sure.
I mean, I think, like an example I said earlier, if you got a family of, I'm just going to say 6, dad never goes to the pool, but he's on the pass.
Right.
So they're paying 105. If we went to the, and they would only pay for 5 people to go to 125. So I think our number of people might go down, not on usage, but on paper, the number would go down. Yeah, we'll bring something back to the next meeting.
Okay.
I would suggest if anybody has suggestions to give to Jay, that you might share those with him, in the next week or two, a couple of weeks, so that he would have that as he's working on some different proposals.
Yeah, I was saying as I was muted right before the mayor spoke that I think as an advisory board, we've done a pretty good job of advising Jay and poking holes in all of his hard work. But I do think that overall we were a pretty good sound forward. So don't take it the wrong way, Jay. I think you're going the right direction.
I'm just wanting people to pay their own way. I get what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Just like with any other thing we do. So.
Well, I think that in order to have funds, I'm assuming that this is where part of the fund is for pool improvement in the future. We're going to have funding.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't raised it since 2010, and we know the cost of everything, construction, everything has gone up since 10. I mean, people want a justification. We don't have to give them a justification, but
It's been 11. You can raise the rates. Like there's, to me, that's a no questions asked. Like
Right.
That should be done.
Yeah, I would encourage you, Jay, to even look further at rate. I think it's two different issues. The whole family pass policy and administration is one thing, but then having our rates more in line with surrounding communities and the market is another thing. Both of those things are important.
Okay, I can do that.
All right. That ends our new business. Anything else? Oh, let me go back to the agenda.
I just bullet point items on the staff report just to have on there. First one's a fall activity plan. As I think Ryan was talking about a little bit earlier on the school stuff. We have a lot of work to do on figuring out what we can and can't do and when we can and can't do it. We have a meeting tomorrow with the other 5 towns that we compete with in youth volleyball and youth soccer. Hopefully we will come out with a decision tomorrow on how we're going to move forward. The obvious questions that are out there are, you look at with all the information out there, everything's different depending on who you talk to and listen to. The biggest discussions right now are obviously masks. We're getting into what are considered, which is kind of in question to me, but soccer and volleyball are considered contact sports, and baseball and softball are not. I see soccer being a contact sport, volleyball, especially at the rec level, I don't see that as being, so that's going to be part of the discussion because we're looking at Kansas Parks and Recreation. Put a committee together. I think we talked about way back in March. They're listing so tomorrow we're hoping to flush all that out and have a plan going forward. We are still in the process of taking registration for those 2 activities, soccer and volleyball, with the plans on still moving forward. And hope to, after tomorrow's meeting, be able to get the word out to the general public on how we plan to move forward in terms of, mask, no mask, who's wearing them, social distancing, presuming we're having the programs, dates, practice, all the ins and outs of the program. So we have everybody on the same page. If we decide we want to, require a mask or require something out of the ordinary, give that parent the opportunity if they don't, if they don't want to stay in the program, the opportunity to get out now before we form teams, and we would provide them with the refund if they don't want to set up. So hopefully, knock on wood, after tomorrow's meeting, we'll have some consensus and be able to move forward with both those programs. So if you guys have any questions on that, but okay. Item B, bond referendum survey update. Mike touched on that a little bit earlier. The plan is right now to leave that survey available to the public until September 1. Reason for that date is I talked with our communications director. We're trying to work with Discovering the Soto. Discovering the Soto is putting out what do they do? Quarterly, Mike? Is that right?
Yeah, it's quarterly.
They're wanting to get that out around the 20th, roughly 22nd area of August. We're hoping people have already found the survey through all our social media type stuff, but it will then be out in print form for people that don't do the social media, so they can see it and have that opportunity to get involved in the survey if they feel like they want to. So after September 1, Justin, myself, Mike might be involved in this, and Whitney will sit down and compile all the results, analyze, and get them into a form that we can present to you guys at the September meeting, so that it's as understandable as possible. Do some groupings, do some, I'm struggling with some strategic looking into numbers and things like that. So that's kind of where we're at on that. We're well over 100. If I honestly didn't check today, I honestly don't know if I looked last week. But they were coming in at a pretty rapid rate for a while. That's something I can look at tomorrow or the next day and send you guys an email of how many results we have so far. But I think that's pretty much it on that. Any questions survey-wise? No? Okay. Item C, land acquisition update. Mike, I'm going to turn this over to you a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So we're moving forward with the acquisition of that 30 or so acres across from Riverfest that was contemplated in the bond referendum. We have cash on hand that we're going to use for that. We did execute a 1-year purchase agreement with the seller, and they're still moving forward, willing. We've surveyed the property, which actually set the price, and now we're just scheduling a closing. Should happen within the next week or two on the closing. So, yeah, hopefully by the next board meeting, we'll have that property titled in the city's name.
All right. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Item D, Aquatic Center Pool Concrete Project. I can send out more. I didn't know what you guys would want in terms of the nuts and bolts of this project, but after the 2000 and I think I've mentioned this before, after the 19 season, we noticed some new or expanded cracking in some of the walls, some in the what we consider the baby pool area, and then some close to the whirlpool area. So we had an engineer come out, take a look at it, and put some drawings for us together for us to do some repairs. What we think is there's some settling in the concrete, which is making it offset. I'm not an engineer talking in technical terms here, but there will be some what's the right term here, Mike? Not mud jacking, some type of
Foundation stabilization. Yeah, it's more like a pier sort of arrangement.
Right.
That gets driven into the ground.
That project. Sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you go. I'm done.
Oh, sorry. So that project is currently out to bid, due back August 13th. The plan is, once the pool is closed, to be able to turn that over to the contractor that wins the bid on that, and be able to get that fixed and kind of and solidify that concrete. No idea price wise where we're at on that. I worked with our city building official to get the paperwork and everything together. Cost wise, I don't know that we came up with an estimate because it's something neither of us have run into, and that's why we enlisted the engineer to get some drawings and project scope.
Yeah, it is a little bit. So on a budgetary side of things, this is the first year we've got utility. Well, on the utility side, we're calling them infrastructure management funds. But on the pool side, so there's a yearly fund designation for long-term upkeep issues, maintenance, preservation, sort of replacement issues that come along. So this year we've got, I think it was initially a $35,000. I think that's what's in the aquatic center maintenance fund. Maybe it's 40,000. Don't quote me on that, but we're hoping that covers most of the work that's going to have to be done here this fall, and the rest will be covered by Jay's budget.
I think that's all I had on that. In terms of activities, I didn't put that on there. Baseball and softball games are wrapping up tonight. Knock on wood, we haven't had any what we would consider COVID-related incidents. We have not. Nobody has reported to us the contraction of COVID that is within our program, whether it be the actual player or parent or coaches. Now, that's not to say that we hear everything. We haven't heard of any. At our meeting last week with the league, nobody else had gotten any other than one, I think, said they'd gotten a call about a third or fourth hand down the road kind of thing. People have been tested, and nobody within the program had contracted COVID. So, which is obviously a good thing. Aquatic center wise, nothing COVID related there to this point. Let's see, we did extend, due to school being started later, we extended our weekday hours a week to allow people to still continue to come to the pool since school got moved back. So that's one thing we did adjust in our schedule. Other than that, program-wise, unless you guys have any questions, I don't think I have anything else to talk about staff report-wise.
Jay, can you give an update on pool attendance for everybody? What we've seen?
As the summer has gone on, it's gone down. First week we were at, Justin, correct me if I'm wrong, we were averaging probably, 75 per session? That sound right?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, pretty close.
I think we've had some days recently where there's only been, 10 or 15 people signed up?
Signed up, yes, and then actually showing up even less than that in some cases.
Yeah. So it's slowly tapered off kind of as the summer's gone on. I don't know. That's normal for us. As the summer goes on, for it to taper, it seems like that's when people start to take more vacations, which I don't know if that's going on or not going on, or other things. But it's slowly tailed off a little bit. But we haven't gotten anywhere near our what we set forth in terms of our 200 capacity per session. So Justin can talk to this better than I can, but I think overall it's run about as well as we could expect based on kind of where we're at right now with everything in the world. So I think those that are decided to come to the pool are enjoying themselves, having a good time, following rules for the most part. You still got kids being kids, but for the most part things are going well. I think we talked about this. We implemented a deck attendant that's going around every half hour, cleaning high touch areas. We've had a lot of comments from parents that they do appreciate that we're going above and beyond. I guess what we would quote have to do in terms of sanitizing and disinfecting. And I think the guards have been taking the responsibility and understanding that it is important and following through with those things. That's not why they're there, or they're there to save lives as a lifeguard, but they realize this year that there are other duties that need to go along with that in order for us to stay open, and then for for them to be able to make money too. So kind of goes hand in hand. And, I think they've done a good job with helping us out with that too. So overall, I'm probably more a pessimist than an optimist, and Mike's going to shake his head really violently and agree, I'm sure. But
Devil's
it's not-
advocate, Jay. That's a better term for that.
Okay. I'm devil's advocate. Mike gets on me all the time, but it's been better than I expected on the baseball, softball side, and on the pool side. So a lot of that credit goes to staff and the rest of the staff and following through with what we set out. So. Any other questions on anything going on program-wise, activity-wise, all that kind of stuff? No?
No.
Bill, I had a comment. I don't know if this would be an appropriate time to make a comment, but or not. But it's related somewhat, Jay, to just the pool. My kids did have an opportunity to take the lifeguard, or not the lifeguard lessons, but swim lessons. This was, I think, the first time my kids have ever done swim lessons, and your instructors really did a top-notch job. My kids really they wanted to go back and do a second session. So great staff, the people you had teaching. I could tell we're really engaged with the kids, and just did a really great job. So just want to pass that along from my perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Justin's kind of groomed some of them that I think the ones he has this year, he can correct me if I'm wrong, have been there for a while, and they're not there just to make that extra $1 an hour. The ones that are doing that. So some years are better than others, but I think we have some more experienced and more invested instructors this year. So appreciate that.
Okay. Well, Jay, make sure that those instructors hear that.
Yep.
Pass that on to them. Mr. Rungart, do you have anything to add?
No, sir. Nothing further. Thank you.
All right.
I would just like to one thing before we adjourn. I want to thank everybody. We really appreciate, as the governing body, I mean, you guys are working to make our parks better, and I appreciate the time that you are giving to the city to make the effort and help improve our parks and rec programs. So I just want to express our appreciation from the city. Thank you.
All right. Well, with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Do you want to,
Or
Bill, do you want to discuss next meeting agenda discussion, which obviously Justin and I will bring back the pool membership fee, some examples. And like the mayor said, if you guys would send some stuff to me, hey, think about this, what about this setup, those types of scenarios. If you guys have some things, if you could do that, that would be great. Obviously, on the next one, we'll have the survey discussion, which is going to take some time. So maybe those two items are going to be plenty to take up time on that. But if there's something else that you guys can think of now, or something that comes up, obviously sooner than later, preferably, so we can do some research and get back the information we need to prior to the meeting. So,
hey, Jay, just so we can get it in our heads, when would the first practices be for your fall activities?
well, depending on how it comes out tomorrow, they could start as early as 2 weeks.
But in a typical year.
2 weeks from now.
Okay. So registration
in theory stopped this past Friday in terms of not having a late fee. We'll still continue to take registration. But yeah, about 2 weeks from today would be typically when we would start, because we would play soccer the first Saturday in September after Labor Day, whatever that is. And then that following Tuesday, the Tuesday after that Saturday of soccer starting, would be when volleyball would start.
True.
typically. So we'll see tomorrow if we adjust or kind of what we do there. So.
All right. So the next time we get together, we'll probably be talking about what your practices look like and how things are going, I would guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. And I also failed to ask the board, anybody else have any final comments? I take that as a no. So now I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Is that appropriate?
Yes.
A motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Josh.
I'll second.
And Teresa seconded. All right. Those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. And I'm sorry I was late. I'm going to get my stuff together next month. I promise you guys. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
I'll end the meeting now. Thanks.
All right.